I was packing the last of my things when I found the letter. It was tucked inside a book I'd given to Sarah for her 13th birthday, a worn copy of The Secret Garden that she'd apparently never opened. The envelope had my name on it in handwriting I'd recognize anywhere. Claire's handwriting, shaky, uneven, written in those last weeks when the cancer had spread to her spine and holding a pen was agony. I stared at that envelope for a full minute before I opened it. Part of me didn't want to know what it said. Part of me was terrified it would change everything. It did, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to the beginning, to the moment I became a stepmother to 3 children who would eventually learn to hate me. I met David at a work conference 7 years ago. I was 31, recently divorced from a brief marriage that had been a mistake from the start. David was 38, a widower with 3 kids, Sarah, then 6, Michael 4, and baby Emma, just 18 months old. His wife Claire had died of ovarian cancer when Emma was 3 months old. He was drowning in grief and single parenthood, barely keeping his head above water. I wasn't looking for anything serious. Neither was he. But sometimes life doesn't care what you're looking for. We started as friends. He needed someone to talk to who hadn't known Claire, who wouldn't look at him with pity. I needed someone who understood that marriage doesn't always work out, that sometimes love isn't enough. 6 months later, we were dating. A year after that, engaged. 18 months after we met, we were married in a small ceremony with his 3 kids as our only witnesses. I knew what I was signing up for, or I thought I did. 3 traumatized children who'd lost their mother. A husband still processing grief. A house full of memories of a woman I'd never met but whose presence was everywhere. Photos on every wall. Her clothes still in the closet. Her recipes in the kitchen. Her handwriting on the family calendar. David said he'd clean it out eventually. Make space for me, for us. He never did. But I told myself it was fine. The kids needed that connection to their mother. David needed time. I could be patient. I could be understanding. I could be enough. Sarah hated me from the start. Not obviously. She was too well-mannered for that. But in small ways, pointed ways. She'd correct me when I did things differently than Mommy used to do them. She'd talk about Claire constantly, especially when David was around. She'd introduce me to people as Dad's wife, never as her stepmother. Michael was easier. He was young enough that his memories of Claire were already fading, being replaced by the reality of our life together. He'd crawl into my lap for stories. Let me braid his sister's hair when Sarah wouldn't let me touch hers. Call me by my name, never Mom, but my name, which felt like progress. Emma didn't remember Claire at all. I was the only mother she'd ever known. She called me Mama, followed me around the house, had nightmares, and would only settle when I held her. I loved them. God, I loved those kids. Sarah's fierce protectiveness of her siblings. Michael's goofy sense of humor. Emma's absolute certainty that I would always be there. I loved them like they were mine, but they weren't mine, and Sarah made sure I never forgot it. "You're not my mother," she'd say whenever I tried to discipline her or set boundaries. "You can't tell me what to do." "I know I'm not your mother," I'd reply, patient, calm. "But I'm an adult in this house and you need to respect the rules." My real mom wouldn't have had this rule. How do you argue with a ghost? How do you compete with a memory that gets more perfect with each passing year? David was no help. He'd intervene sometimes, tell Sarah to be respectful, but his heart wasn't in it. He felt guilty for remarrying, for moving on, for giving his children a stepmother instead of their real mother. So he overcompensated. Let Sarah get away with behavior he'd never have tolerated otherwise. Undermined my authority in front of the kids. Made me the bad guy while he got to be the understanding, grieving father. I tried talking to him about it. Multiple times. "You need to back me up," I'd say. "The kids need to know we're a united front. I can't be too hard on them. They've been through so much. I'm not asking you to be hard on them. I'm asking you to support me, to not let Sarah openly disrespect me. She's just processing her grief. It's been 3 years, David. At some point, grief becomes an excuse for bad behavior. You don't understand. You didn't lose anyone. That one hurt, because I had lost someone. I'd lost the fantasy of what this family could be. But I stayed, because I loved David, because I loved the kids, because I believed stupidly, naively, that love would be enough. Then Claire's mother died. Claire's parents had moved to Florida after she died, unable to bear being in the same city where their daughter had suffered and died. But they called the kids every week, sent birthday presents, flew back for Christmas. When Claire's mother died suddenly of a heart attack, her father fell apart. Within 6 months, he was showing signs of dementia. Within a year, he was in memory care, not recognizing his own grandchildren. David was named executor of the estate, which meant he was responsible for going through their house in Florida, sorting decades of possessions, figuring out what to keep, what to sell, what to donate. He took Sarah with him. She was 13 by then, old enough to help, he said. Old enough to have a say in what happened to her mother's family heirlooms. They were gone for 2 weeks. When they came back, everything changed. Sarah had found boxes of Claire's things at her grandmother's house. Journals, photo albums, letters, things Claire had written before she got sick, things she'd left for her children to read when they were older. Sarah read all of it, every word. 2 weeks of absorbing her mother's thoughts, her fears, her love for her children, her grief at knowing she'd never see them grow up. David should have stopped her, should have waited until Sarah was older, more equipped to handle that kind of emotional weight. But he didn't. He let his 13-year-old daughter read her dying mother's private thoughts, and it broke something in her. She came home different, harder, angrier, and all that anger was directed at me. My mom wrote about what she wanted for us, Sarah told me the first night back. She wrote about the kind of person she hoped Dad would find if he remarried. That was kind of her, I said carefully. You're nothing like what she described. I didn't ask what Claire had written, didn't want to know, but Sarah told me anyway. She said she hoped Dad would find someone who'd love us like their own, someone who'd honor her memory, someone who'd make sure we never forgot her. I've never tried to make you forget her, haven't you? You moved into our house, changed things, act like you're our mother when you're not. Sarah, I've never acted like I'm your mother. I've never asked you to call me mom. I've never tried to replace her. You exist. That's replacement enough. I should have seen then where this was going. Should have recognized that Sarah was spiraling, turning her grief into a weapon aimed directly at me. But I thought time would help. Therapy would help. Love would help. I was wrong. Over the next 2 years, Sarah made my life hell. Small things at first. Forgetting to give me messages from school. Excluding me from family photos. Telling her siblings stories about Claire. Always when I was in earshot, always emphasizing how perfect she was, how much better everything was when she was alive. Then bigger things. Lying about me to her teachers. Claiming I'd said things I hadn't. Telling David I was mean to her when he wasn't around. Turning Michael against me. Slowly, methodically, reminding him constantly of the mother he was forgetting. Emma, who'd called me mama since she learned to talk, started calling me by my first name. Started asking about Claire, the mother she'd never known. Started looking at me with confusion, like she couldn't figure out where I fit anymore. I tried talking to David, begged him to get Sarah into therapy, to set boundaries, to make it clear that this behavior wasn't acceptable. She's grieving, he said. Again, always. She's 15 years old and she's systematically destroying our family. That's not grief. That's cruelty. How can you say that? Her mother died 6 years ago, David. 6 years. And I've been here for 5 of them, trying to love her, trying to support her, trying to be what she needs. And she hates me for it. And you let her. I won't punish her for missing her mother. I'm not asking you to punish her for missing Claire. I'm asking you to stop her from punishing me for not being Claire. But he wouldn't, couldn't, was so paralyzed by guilt and grief that he couldn't see what his daughter was doing. The breaking point came on Emma's 8th birthday. I spent weeks planning it. Emma had been asking for a princess party for months. I'd made invitations, ordered a castle cake, bought decorations. I'd sewn her costume myself, staying up late night after night to get it perfect. The morning of the party, Emma came downstairs in tears. "What's wrong, sweetie?" I asked. "Sarah says Mommy would have done it better. That Mommy would have hired a real princess, not just decorated the house. That this is a cheap party for someone who doesn't matter." I found Sarah in her room. "What did you say to your sister?" I told her the truth. "Mom would have made this special. You're just going through the motions." Emma is 8 years old. It's her birthday, and you made her cry. Maybe she should cry. Maybe she should know that she's missing out on having a real mother. Sarah, don't pretend you love us. Don't pretend you're doing this for anyone but yourself. You wanted to play house with Dad, and we're just props in your fantasy. That's not true, isn't it? You got what you wanted. A husband, a ready-made family, a life you didn't have to build from scratch. And all it cost you was pretending to care about 3 kids who wish you didn't exist. I'm not pretending. I love you, all of you. I've loved you from the beginning. You love the idea of us. You love what we represent. But you don't actually love us. If you did, you'd leave. You'd let Dad find someone better. Someone Mom would have approved of. I should have fought back. Should have defended myself. Should have told her she was being cruel and unfair and wrong. But I was so tired of fighting, so tired of being the villain in a story where I'd only ever tried to help. Maybe you're right, I said quietly. Maybe I should leave. Her eyes widened, just for a second, like she hadn't expected me to agree. But then her face hardened again. Good, we don't need you. I finished Emma's party, smiled through it, pretended everything was fine, made sure she had the birthday she deserved. That night, after the kids were in bed, I told David I wanted a divorce. He stared at me like I'd slapped him. What? I can't do this anymore. I've tried. God, I've tried. But I can't keep living in a house where I'm not wanted. Where your daughter hates me and you won't do anything about it. Where I'm constantly compared to a ghost and found lacking. You're giving up? Just like that? Just like that? David, I've been fighting for this marriage for 5 years. I've been patient and understanding and supportive. I've loved your children like they were my own. And it's never been enough. It'll never be enough. Because I'm not Claire, and that's all that matters. The kids need you. No, they don't. Sarah's made it very clear they don't want me. And you've made it clear you won't make me a priority. So I'm done. I'm leaving. What about Emma? She loves you. Emma will be fine. She has you. She has her siblings. She'll adjust. You're abandoning her. That word. Abandoning. Like I was the villain. Like I was the one who'd failed. I'm leaving a situation that's toxic and unhealthy. That's not abandonment. That's self-preservation. Claire would never have given up on this family. And there it was. The comparison I'd been avoiding for 5 years. You're right, I said quietly. Claire wouldn't have. But I'm not Claire. I never was. And I'm tired of being punished for it. I moved out the next week. Rented a small apartment across town. Filed for divorce. Started the painful process of disentangling my life from theirs. David was shocked, I think, that I actually went through with it. He'd expected me to back down, to apologize, to come crawling back. But I didn't. Couldn't. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. Clean split. I didn't ask for anything except what I'd brought into the marriage. No alimony. No claim on the house. Just my freedom. I expected to feel relieved. Instead, I just felt empty. I missed Emma. Missed her laugh, her sticky hands. The way she'd crawl into my lap for stories. I missed Michael, who'd been just starting to open up to me when everything fell apart. I even missed Sarah, in a strange way. Missed the version of her I'd glimpsed sometimes, when her guard was down. The smart, funny, wounded girl beneath all that armor. But I didn't reach out. They weren't my children. I had no legal right to them, no biological claim. I was just the woman who'd been married to their father for 5 years. I tried to move on, focused on work, started dating again, built a new life that didn't revolve around being a stepmother to children who didn't want me. 2 years passed. Then I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Is this Jennifer? Yes. Who is this? It's Sarah. I almost hung up. Almost. But something in her voice stopped me. Sarah. Hi. Is everything okay? Mom's. My mom's. Claire's. Her voice broke. David. David is getting remarried. Took me a second to process that. Okay. That's good, right? He's moving on. To someone terrible. Someone who doesn't care about us. Who just wants him. The irony was not lost on me. Sarah. I'm not sure why you're calling me. Because I was wrong. About you. About everything. I closed my eyes. Sarah. Please. Can I see you? Can we talk? I need to talk to someone, and you're the only one who might understand." Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her for coffee. She looked so different. 17 now, almost an adult. Taller, her hair longer, her face sharper. But her eyes were the same, wounded and defensive and scared. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. "What's going on?" "Dad's fiancée is named Jessica. He met her 8 months ago. They're getting married in 3 months. That's fast." That's what I said. But he says he's sure. That he knows what he wants. That we'll love her once we get to know her. And you don't. She's nothing like you. She doesn't want kids. She made that very clear. She's marrying Dad, not us. She told him she expects us to be out of the house by the time we're 18, that she's not interested in being a stepmother to teenagers. And your dad agreed to this? He says we're old enough to be independent, that it's time for him to focus on his own happiness. I felt a flash of anger on behalf of Emma, who was only 10, but I kept my voice neutral. That must be hard. It is, and I know I have no right to ask anything of you. I know I treated you terribly. I know I'm the reason you left, but I need to tell you something. I need you to know that I understand now. What we had, what you tried to give us. Sarah, I found something, another letter from my mom. One she wrote to me specifically to read when I was older. It was in a box of her things that Dad had in the garage. And in it, she talked about her hopes for Dad if he remarried. About what she wanted for us. She pulled out her phone, opened a photo, handed it to me. I looked at Claire's handwriting. Shaky but determined. "Sarah, my beautiful girl," it read. "If you're reading this, you're probably at least 16, maybe older. Old enough to understand some things about love and life and loss that I hope you never have to learn as young as I did. If your father has remarried by now, I hope you've welcomed her. I hope you've let her love you. I hope you haven't made the mistake of thinking that loving her means betraying me. Here's what I need you to understand. I will always be your mother. Nothing can change that. Not death, not time, not another woman in your father's life. I am in your DNA. I am in your memories. I am in the way you laugh and the way you love and the way you see the world. But I won't be there. And your father needs someone who will be. You and Michael and Emma need someone who will be there for parent-teacher conferences and graduations and weddings and grandchildren. I hope he finds someone kind, someone patient, someone who will love you not because she has to, but because she chooses to every single day. That kind of love, chosen love, is just as real as the love that comes from blood and biology. Sometimes it's even more powerful because it's deliberate, intentional. So please, my darling girl, if your father finds someone who tries to love you, let her. You don't have to call her mom. You don't have to forget me, but let her in. Let her love you, because love isn't a finite resource. You can love her and still love me. You can make room for both. And if you don't, if you push her away, if you make her feel unwelcome, if you punish her for not being me, you'll regret it. Not right away, maybe not for years, but eventually you'll look back and realize that you turned away someone who was trying to love you, and you'll wonder why you were so afraid to let her. Don't be afraid, Sarah. Let love in. All kinds of love. Even the complicated kinds. Especially the complicated kinds. I love you forever. Mom. I read it twice, then a third time. My vision was blurry with tears. She was talking about you, Sarah said, her own voice thick with tears. She described you perfectly. Kind, patient, someone who loved us because you chose to, and I pushed you away. I made your life hell. I'm the reason you left. Sarah, I was so scared. Scared that if I loved you, it meant I didn't love her enough. That I was betraying her by letting you in. So I made you the enemy. I made you into someone you weren't, so I wouldn't have to face how much I needed you. You were a kid. You were grieving. I was cruel. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We sat in silence for a moment. The coffee shop bustled around us, oblivious to the emotional bomb being defused at our corner table. Why are you telling me this now? I asked finally. Because I want you to know that you mattered. That what you did for us mattered. That you were exactly what Mom hoped Dad would find. And we threw it away. I threw it away. I appreciate that. I do. But Sarah, I can't come back. I can't be in your lives again. It hurt too much the first time. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm asking you to forgive me. To know that I understand now what I couldn't understand then. And maybe, someday, when you think about us, you won't just remember how awful I was. You'll remember that eventually, I got it. I understood. I forgive you, I said, and I meant it. How could I not? She was a kid who'd lost her mother, who'd been drowning in grief and fear and hadn't known how to ask for help, except by pushing away anyone who tried to get close. We talked for another hour. She told me about school, about Michael who was 15 now and angry at the world, about Emma who barely remembered me but sometimes asked David why I'd left. What do you tell her? I asked. We don't tell her anything. Dad gets uncomfortable and changes the subject. But she knows something went wrong. She knows we're the reason you're gone. You were never the reason. Not really. It was complicated. A lot of factors. Don't do that. Don't minimize what I did to make yourself feel better. I was terrible to you. Own it. I need you to own it so I can actually process what I did. She was right. Okay, yes. You made my life very difficult. You were openly hostile and disrespectful and cruel sometimes. And your father enabled it. And eventually I couldn't take it anymore. Is that what you need to hear? Yes, because otherwise I can't learn from it. Otherwise, I'm just going to repeat these patterns with Jessica or whoever comes after her. For what it's worth, I hope it works out with Jessica. I hope she's what your dad needs. What you all need. She's not. But maybe that's not her job. Maybe it's our job to figure out what we need and stop expecting other people to provide it. We exchanged numbers before we left. She hugged me, the first time she'd ever voluntarily touched me, and whispered another apology. I thought that would be the end of it. A nice moment of closure. A chance for both of us to move forward without the weight of all that unresolved hurt. But 3 months later, Sarah called again. Dad and Jessica got married yesterday. Congratulations. Don't. It was horrible. Jessica made it clear she didn't want us there. The ceremony was just them and 2 witnesses. We found out after the fact. Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. Emma cried all night. She's 10 years old and she doesn't understand why her dad is shutting her out. Michael is talking about moving out as soon as he turns 18, going to live with Mom's cousin in Oregon. And I'm trying to hold everyone together, but I don't know how. What about your dad? What does he say? He says we're overreacting, that Jessica needs time to adjust, that we need to respect their marriage and give them space. Space? You're his children. Apparently that's not enough anymore. We talked for an hour. I tried to give her advice, perspective, support. But what do you say to a kid whose father is choosing his new wife over his children? Especially when you're the ex-wife who couldn't make it work either. After that, Sarah called once a week, then twice a week, then almost every day. She'd tell me about fights with Jessica, about David missing Emma's school play because Jessica wanted to go to wine country that weekend, about Michael getting in trouble at school and David barely reacting because he was giving Michael space to figure things out himself, about Emma asking if I could come to her birthday party and David saying absolutely not, that would be inappropriate. She misses you, Sarah said. She doesn't really remember you, but she knows she loved you, and she knows you left, and she thinks it's her fault. It wasn't her fault. Will you tell her that? Sarah, I can't. Your father wouldn't want. My father doesn't get to decide. He's made it clear we're not his priority anymore. So I'm asking you, please, come to Emma's birthday party. I'm organizing it, not Dad. I'm inviting you. I shouldn't have gone. I knew it was a mistake, but something in me needed to see Emma, to tell her it wasn't her fault, to give her some piece of closure even if I couldn't give it to myself. The party was at a park. Emma was there with about 10 friends from school. Michael was there, sulking by the playground equipment. Sarah was managing everything: cake, games, presents. David and Jessica were nowhere to be seen. They had plans, Sarah said bitterly when I arrived. Jessica's sister is in town. That's more important than his daughter's 10th birthday. Emma saw me and stopped dead. She was so much taller than I remembered. Her baby face was gone, replaced with the beginnings of the person she'd become. Do I know you? She asked. Sort of.
I'm Jennifer.
I was married to your dad for a while. Oh, you're the one who left. I am. Why? How do you explain adult relationships to a 10-year-old? It's complicated, but I want you to know it wasn't because of you. You were my favorite part of that whole time." Her eyes filled with tears. "Really? Really? Can you stay? For the party?" I looked at Sarah, who nodded. "Please stay." So I stayed. I helped serve cake, played games, watched Emma open presents. And for a few hours, it felt like coming home. Michael eventually came over to me. "You probably don't remember me," he said. "Of course I remember you. You used to make me watch those terrible superhero cartoons every Saturday morning." He smiled, a real smile, the first genuine expression I'd seen from him all day. "Those weren't terrible. You just had bad taste." "Possibly. Why did you really leave? And don't give me some bullshit adult answer."
I'm 15.
"I can handle the truth. I left because staying was making me miserable. Your sister hated me. Your dad wouldn't support me. And I couldn't keep fighting a battle I was never going to win. We needed you. I needed me too. Sometimes you have to save yourself." "Is that what you're telling me to do? Save myself?" "I'm telling you that you deserve to be in a family that wants you, that prioritizes you, that makes you feel valued. If that's not happening with your dad right now, then yes, maybe you need to figure out where else you can get that." He nodded slowly. "Mom's cousin Tom has been asking if I want to come live with him for junior and senior year. Go to school in Oregon. Get away from all this." "What do you want to do?" "I want my dad to fight for me, to tell me to stay, to prove that I matter more than Jessica." "But he hasn't."
No.
"He hasn't." "Then maybe Oregon is your answer, at least for now." As the party wound down, Emma asked if I'd come to her next birthday, and the one after that, and every birthday forever. "I can't promise forever," I said gently, "but I'll try to be there when you need me. Can I call you?" "Sometimes." I looked at Sarah, who nodded. "If it's okay with your dad." "Dad doesn't care what we do anymore," Sarah said. "So yes, you can call her." That night, driving home, I felt conflicted. I told myself I was done with that family, that I'd moved on, that going back, even for a birthday party, was a mistake. But seeing those kids, seeing how much they'd needed someone to show up, how much they were struggling with David's neglect, I couldn't regret it. Over the next year, I became a strange sort of presence in their lives. Not a parent, not a step-parent, not even really family, but someone who was there, who showed up. I went to Sarah's high school graduation when David was too busy to stay for the whole ceremony, helped Michael pack when he decided to move to Oregon, took Emma school shopping when Jessica said it wasn't her responsibility. And slowly, painfully, I watched David disappear from his children's lives. It wasn't dramatic. No big fight. No formal estrangement. Just a gradual fading. Missed phone calls. Canceled visits. Promises broken. Jessica wanted to travel. Build a life with just the two of them. And David, so desperate for someone to choose him, so tired of being a single father, let himself be chosen right out of his children's lives. Sarah started college and barely told him. Michael stayed in Oregon and stopped calling. Emma learned to stop asking when her dad would come to her school events. And I, the ex-stepmother who'd left, became the adult they called when they needed something. Felt wrong, backwards, like I was trying to build a family with children who weren't mine, who I had no legal or biological claim to. But they needed someone, and I still loved them, so I stayed. 2 more years passed. Sarah graduated college. Michael was thriving in Oregon, had gotten into a good university, had a girlfriend. Emma was 13, navigating middle school and asking me questions about growing up that should have been for her mother or father but ended up being for me. Then, out of nowhere, Claire's letter appeared. I was helping Emma clean out her room. She'd decided she wanted to redecorate, wanted something that felt more mature. We were going through boxes of old things when she pulled out a worn copy of The Secret Garden. "This is yours," she said. "You gave this to Sarah years ago. Keep it." I gave it to her. It's hers. She never read it. Emma flipped through the pages. "Wait, there's something in here." She pulled out the envelope. My name on it. Claire's handwriting. "What is that?" Emma asked. "I don't know." I took it with shaking hands. "Did you know this was in there?"
No.
Sarah must have put it there and forgotten about it. I opened the envelope slowly. Inside was a single sheet of paper, dated 2 weeks before Claire died. "Jennifer," it began, "I don't know who you are. I'll never know who you are. But if you're reading this, it means David married again, and that marriage has ended, and somehow this letter found its way to you. I'm writing to you from a hospital room where I'm dying. I have weeks left, maybe a month if I'm lucky, and I'm terrified. Not of dying, I've made my peace with that, but of what happens after, of who David will become without me, of who will take care of my children. I want to tell you some things I wish someone had told me before I got sick. David is a good man, but he's not a strong man. He needs someone to lean on, someone to follow, someone to tell him it's going to be okay. I was that person for 14 years, and I'm afraid of who he'll be without that person. He'll marry again, probably quickly, too quickly. He won't know how to be alone with his grief and his children and his fear. So he'll find someone, anyone, to fill the void I left. That might be you. If it is, I'm sorry. Not sorry that you married him. I hope you loved him. I hope it was real. But sorry for what you're about to go through. Because here's what I need you to know. My children will hate you. Sarah especially. She's 6 years old right now, bright and fierce and already protective of her siblings. By the time you meet her, she'll be older, angrier, more convinced that anyone who tries to take my place is the enemy. It won't matter how kind you are, how patient, how much you love them. She'll see you as a threat, as proof that I can be replaced, as evidence that David has moved on in a way she can't. And David won't help you. He'll be paralyzed by guilt. Every time he supports you, he'll feel like he's betraying me. Every time he disciplines the kids, he'll remember that they're motherless and ease up. Every time you two argue, he'll wonder if he made a mistake, if he should have stayed single, if he's being unfair to you or to me or to himself. It will be impossible. You'll be fighting a ghost who gets more perfect with every passing day, competing with a memory that can't argue back, can't make mistakes, can't be anything other than ideal. So if you're reading this, I'm guessing you left. I'm guessing it got too hard, too painful, too impossible. And I'm guessing you feel guilty about it. Don't. You did nothing wrong. You tried to love 3 broken children and a broken man. You tried to build a family in the ruins of mine. That's not failure. That's courage. And if they come looking for you, and Sarah will eventually when she's old enough to understand what she lost, please don't turn them away. Not because you owe them anything. You don't. But because they'll need someone who understands. Someone who tried. Someone who loved them enough to leave when staying became self-destruction. They'll need you to forgive them, to show them that love doesn't have to be perfect to be real, that leaving doesn't mean you stopped caring. I'll never meet you, but I'm grateful to you anyway, for trying, for caring, for doing what I can't do, which is be there for them after I'm gone. Thank you, and I'm sorry, for all of it. With gratitude and sorrow, Claire. I read it 3 times before I could see through my tears. Emma was watching me with wide eyes. What does it say? It's from your mother. To me. But she never met you. No. But she knew. She knew what would happen. All of it. Can I read it? I handed her the letter. Watched her face as she processed her mother's words. Saw the moment she understood what Claire had been trying to say. She wanted us to love you, Emma said finally, her voice small. She wanted us to let you in. And we didn't. Sarah didn't. She was scared. You all were. But you stayed anyway. Even after the divorce. Even after we pushed you away. You stayed. Not at first. I left. Just like your mom predicted. But you came back. That's what matters. I didn't know what to say to that. Didn't know how to explain that coming back hadn't been a choice so much as an inability to fully let go. That I tried to move on, tried to build a life that didn't include them, and failed. That night, I called Sarah and told her about the letter. She was quiet for a long time. Then she knew. She knew I'd sabotage it. That I'd push you away. She knew you'd be scared. That's not the same thing. I wish I'd read this letter years ago. Maybe things would be different. Maybe. Or maybe you needed to be older to really understand it. Do you forgive me? Really? I already told you I did. But do you believe it? Because sometimes I think you just say that to make me feel better. I thought about it. Really thought about it. Did I forgive Sarah? Did I forgive David? Did I forgive myself for leaving? Yes, I said finally. I forgive you. Not because what you did was okay, but because holding on to anger about it doesn't help anyone. You were a kid dealing with impossible grief. You did the best you could. We all did. Even if our best sucked? Even then. 3 months later, David called me. The first time we'd spoken directly in 4 years. Jessica left, he said without preamble. I'm sorry to hear that. She said I was emotionally unavailable, that I was still grieving Claire, that she felt like she was competing with a ghost. He laughed bitterly. Sound familiar? David, I'm calling because Sarah told me about the letter, about what Claire wrote to you. Okay, was she right? About me? About all of it? Does it matter? What's done is done. It matters because I need to know if I can fix it, if there's anything left to save. With Jessica? With my kids. They barely talk to me. Emma's birthday is next week and she told Sarah not to invite me. Michael hasn't called in 6 months. Sarah's polite but distant. I've lost them, and I don't know how to get them back. You start by showing up, by prioritizing them, by proving that they matter more than your guilt or your grief or your new relationship. Is it too late? I don't know. Maybe. You'll have to ask them. They won't talk to me. Then you keep trying. You show up anyway. You apologize. You do better. There's no magic formula, David. You just have to decide they're worth the effort and then put in the effort. Like you did. I'm not their parent. It's different. You've been more of a parent to them in the last 3 years than I have. How is that possible? You're the one who left. I left you. I never left them. Not really. I couldn't. He was quiet for a long moment. Claire was right. About you. About everything. I'm sorry I didn't see it then. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. I'm sorry I let Sarah treat you the way she did. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't enough when you were exactly what we needed. I appreciate that. Is there any chance, we're both single now, and the kids love you, and I never stopped. No, I said firmly. No, we're not doing that. Why not? Because I'm not your safety net. I'm not the person you come back to when everyone else leaves. I deserve better than that. And honestly, so do you. So what now? Now you figure out how to be the father your kids need. And I'll keep being what I've always been. Someone who shows up. Not because I have to, but because I choose to. You always were stronger than me. Not stronger, just more stubborn. I didn't get back together with David. Didn't even consider it. That chapter of my life was closed, finished, done. But I didn't walk away from the kids either. Couldn't. Emma asked if I'd come to her 8th grade graduation. Sarah wanted me at her graduate school ceremony. Michael called from Oregon just to talk about his day. About nothing and everything. They weren't my children. Not legally, not biologically. But they were mine in all the ways that mattered. Chosen. Intentional. Complicated. Exactly the kind of love Claire had written about. Sarah showed me the other letter, the one from her mother that had started all this years later. We were at coffee, our weekly ritual now, when she pulled it out. I want you to read it, she said. The whole thing. Not just the part 1 showed you before. I read Claire's words about hoping for someone kind and patient. Someone who would love her children by choice. Someone Sarah shouldn't be afraid to let in. She was describing you, Sarah said, before she ever met you, before you even existed in our lives. She knew exactly what we needed, and I threw it away because I was too scared to see it. You were a child. I was old enough to know better. Maybe, but you know better now. That's what matters. Do you ever regret it? Staying in our lives? You could have just walked away after the divorce, built a whole new life. Instead, you're stuck with us. I'm not stuck. I'm here by choice. That's the whole point. Why though? Why choose us when we gave you every reason to leave? Because love isn't about reasons. It's about choices. And every day I choose you. All of you. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Even though we're not yours? Especially because you're not mine. Because that means every moment I spend with you is intentional. Chosen. Real. She cried then. Not the angry, bitter tears of her teenage years, but something softer. Grateful. Relieved. Thank you, she whispered, for not giving up on us. Even when we gave up on ourselves. You never gave up. You just got lost for a while. But you found your way back. We found our way back to you. And somehow, against all odds, that was enough. Not a happy ending exactly. Too messy for that. Too complicated. but a real one, an honest one, the kind of ending Claire had hoped for, even if she'd never get to see it. The kind of family built not on biology or obligation, but on choice, on showing up, on loving people even when, especially when, it's hard. I found the letter 3 years ago. Since then, I've read it more times than I can count. Every time I wonder if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm overstepping, if I should back off, if I'm fooling myself into thinking these kids are mine. I read Claire's words. Thank you for trying, for caring, for doing what I can't do. And I remember, this is what she wanted, what she hoped for, what she couldn't ask for directly but trusted someone, somewhere would provide. I'm not their mother. I'll never be their mother. But I'm here, present, chosen, loving them with intention and stubbornness and faith that it matters, that I matter, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when I'm tempted to walk away and never look back. I stay, not because I have to, because I choose to, every single day. And that, as Claire wrote, is exactly the kind of love these children need. The complicated kind, the intentional kind, the real kind. So am I the asshole for not wanting contact with my stepkids after their mom passed and I divorced their father? Maybe I was, for a little while, when I chose myself over them, when I left, but I came back, and I kept coming back, even when it was hard, even when they didn't make it easy. And in the end, that's what Claire asked for. Not perfection, not sacrifice, just someone who'd keep trying, keep choosing, keep showing up. Someone who'd love her children even after she was gone, even after everything fell apart, even after it seemed impossible. I'm that someone, and I always will be.